Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, first it was the Conservatives. Now questions are being asked about whether Labour properly declared its expenses in last year's general election. The claims focus on battle buses used by the party called the Labour Express, which took activists to key marginals. The party didn't appear to declare the costs on their local expense returns, but as part of the national campaign. Labour said tonight its spending was within the law and the rules set out by the Electoral Commission. Our political correspondent Michael Crick has this report.
We can only change Britain if we win, so we're wasting no time getting that message out there.
It was a key part of Labour's general election campaign. Bus tours around marginal seats, the battlegrounds. But now there are questions about whether Labour, like the Tories, should have declared the costs of such trips as local spending.
We're hitting key seats to talk with people about Labour's better plan.
Here's the Labour Express bus arriving in Cleethorpes in January last year with MPs Jonathan Ashworth and Rachel Reeves. It was Ashworth, the party's deputy campaign chief, who ran the Labour bus tours. A few weeks later, on the 18th of February, for instance, Ashworth called for volunteers for what he called a three-seat challenge in Harrow and Ealing, supporting 3 Labour candidates in one day, including Rupa Huck. But she didn't declare the cost of the bus on her expense return. Labour says it was a national expense. And here's a retweet from Mr Ashworth, this time about the bus heading for Pudsey and Keighley. Again, the costs don't seem to have been disclosed on the 2 candidates' local spending returns. Yesterday, as questions arose about Labour buses, the original tweet by someone else was mysteriously deleted. Labour, like the Tories, insists that its Labour Express bus was part of a national tour and therefore didn't need to be declared locally. That may explain why in recent weeks the Labour Party has been almost totally silent on this issue of Conservative election expenses at the last election and the revelations that we've been making on this programme. But the ceasefire between the parties on this issue was broken last Friday by the Tory Business Minister Anna Soubry. On the day it emerged, Nottinghamshire police were examining her local expense return. She asked the MP Rachel Reeves on Twitter,
"Can you confirm Labour Express was part of your national returns?"
Rachel Reeves replied,
"If you think Labour has done anything wrong, pop down to your local police station. In the meantime, get your own house in order."
From what we've found so far, there are big differences between Labour and the Tories on this. For as well as the buses, the Tories admit that they spent almost £40,000 on more than 1,100 nights of accommodation for volunteers in hotels, costs which were never officially declared. Now, if that money had been declared on local candidates' spending returns, then almost 24 Tory MPs would appear to have breached the local spending limits in their constituencies. Labour, in contrast, says it didn't spend anything on hotel costs for volunteers, and so far, no evidence has emerged to contradict that. Under the rules, it does seem Labour should have declared their bus costs locally, but in none of the 19 seats we've looked at would they have breached the spending cap.
Even if the money was allocated to the local campaigns, that because the Labour Party spent so much less at the election, it would be less likely to have pushed local candidates over the election spending limits. The biggest difference, of course, is that ultimately most of the Conservative candidates actually won. So if there are to be criminal convictions as a matter of election law, the by-elections we'll be seeing will be at least mostly Conservative MPs who are losing their seats.
At least 11 police forces are now investigating Tory election expenses, though the party says it acted within the law. This affair at heart raises questions about the integrity of the level playing field, designed to make British elections fair.
I've been